talk of the town. We're the artists, the actresses, the filmmakers to meet in Venus. Yeah, we're coming through. Shine your light, let your voices be heard. We're spreading love with every single word, from the stage to the screen. We're making our mark, me and Venus, together we embark.
Good evening. I'm very happy to welcome singer Carissa Summer Rose. Hi, Carissa. How are you?
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Pleasure to have you. And I'm very happy to welcome you, especially after viewing your social media, your website, and the recent press releases by your press agent. And first, I want to ask a little bit about your beginnings and interest into music. How did it start with you?
Yeah, I think I've just kind of always been a musical person, I guess. Like, I think some people are kind of just naturally inclined to creative stuff, and that was just me. But yeah, I think I just kind of have always loved it. I think some of my earliest memories are like just singing even around the house as like a really, really little kid, like 3 years old, maybe even, with my dad and stuff. And just, yeah, any chance I could get, I was singing.
Mhm. Yes, and I've seen you have certain influences with great singer we know from different era like Frank Sinatra and Aretha Franklin, Shania Twain. Who else you like as well, and you think they give you like energy and influence to perform your own songs?
That's a great question. Yeah, I think I definitely have always been influenced by what I would consider like the classics. But yeah, I think just honestly, any of the greats who came before me, I love to honor them with my own music and just understanding and knowing music history and how they impacted the industry before I entered it.
Hmm.
So I found a lot of really great inspiration, and I just kind of select bits and pieces throughout just what I've learned and who I've come across. But yeah, I think Aretha is a huge influence on my singing, and just her story is incredible, and just I have so
Hmm.
much admiration for her. And women like even more modern, like Shania, like you mentioned, or
Hmm.
Amy Winehouse is a big one for me.
Yes, yes,
Yeah, just
yes,
stuff like
yes.
that. I truly think they've all impacted how I write and how I view things
Hmm.
as an artist.
Yes. You know, I was influenced a lot myself by music of the 80s, the 90s, and I think it generated a lot of very talented singers. You know, I remember listening to Belinda Carlisle, to Madonna, to Gloria Stefan. You know, I used to have all of their albums, you know, in the 90s.
Yeah.
And I've seen that you like as well The Circle of Life. This is from The Lion King, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Accidentally, yesterday, I was listening to Can You Feel the Love Tonight as well by Elton John.
Amazing soundtrack.
And I don't
Amazing
know, I share it
soundtrack.
on my Facebook, and my wife asking me, why did you share it today? You know, I share it really because I was thinking about the lyrics of the song.
Mm,
Really, it has very beautiful lyrics, very deep lyrics about, you know, relationship and love and people with power, you know.
absolutely. Yeah.
And I think at the time as well, Disney used to produce very powerful films as well. I mean, the soundtracks and beside the animation, and I think timeless films as well. And what I want to ask you right now, how did you like make a passage from a music fan into a professional singer? What did you study? And as well, right now, when you started to release songs as well, tell me a little bit about the process of writing the music and the lyrics, and with whom you collaborate as well, in your recordings.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, I think my story kind of started
Mhm.
out as a music listener, as you had said, and it kind of evolved naturally into me just using it as a form of expression for myself. I think the more you study something, the more you're able to understand it and do more for yourself with it. So I think just naturally having studied it throughout the years and been interested in it, I just kind of gravitated into it and started creating songs. Like honestly, as far back as I can remember, I was writing songs. Like so, it's not even like a solid like this was the transition. It just kind of naturally became like the truest part of who I am, and evolved with me as a person. But yeah, I think now as an adult, I look back and there were certain moments that I was like, okay, yeah, that was a big like kind of jumping point where it's a lot of change happened in a small period of time. So like when I was 16, that was a big turning point for me because I moved out to LA on my own and got my GED and did college very early, for the typical ages for college. So my experience was crazy, and like looking back at that, I'm like, how did I even do that? But I think just yeah, certain periods of life, you kind of are faced with bigger choices and bigger decisions to make, and those really shape who you become. And I think for the best, it shaped me in my career and who I've become for for the best. Like I,
Sure, I think the early is the better for a move from Boston to LA. But tell me about your experience there, because I visited Los Angeles several times in New York, and I during film festivals and events like that. And the horizon up there is very competitive. A lot of young women and young men like yourself, they go there, and I mean, a lot of coffee shops. I remember a lot of some friends, filmmakers, showing me all of them are full of young people looking for opportunities, casting, modeling, not only singing. So tell me, how did you move, and made it to have your releases and your professional career starting?
um, yeah, that's a good question. I think yeah, LA is definitely where people come for the entertainment industry. It's definitely like the capital of the U.S. for entertainment, and even some parts of the world. So we get a lot of different people who just want to be a part of that, and I think that's what brought me and so many other people there is like that creativity and the possibility of your dream coming true. That brings out a lot of people to Hollywood. But I think for everyone, it looks very different, depending on like which facet of the industry you're getting into. And honestly, like at this point, with social media and stuff and like streaming platforms and just the accessibility to people creating music and creating a name for themselves as an artist has become so worldwide and global because of social media that it's not all that much different from the little bubble that is LA in some ways because I think LA has always been very competitive, but now it's like competitive everywhere because of social media and because of the sort of globalization of it. So it's become a little bit more intense, but I think either way, you're gonna feel kind of that competition that you had mentioned, of yeah, everyone's out here to make it, but you get that a lot online now too. So
Mhm. I write and I follow the American media all the time, write about news, celebrities, movies, music. All the time I read the press releases and news from here and there. And the most common topic is about, uh, equality between and opportunities as well for men and women and stuff like that. It's all the time on the media, and on YouTube as well, Facebook discussions. So tell me, did you face any gender-related challenges when you were starting as well?
I mean, I still do to this day, like it's, I think just reality of being a woman, especially in any industry, but especially when you're in a field that, like as a producer, I experienced this a lot, where it's a little bit more of a male dominated industry already. And um, when you come into it, you have to really prove yourself. And it's different. It's not the same kind of pressure, but it also kind of creates a gap in a way, to create a new community for women doing that specialty. So I found a lot of empowerment just by creating places and spaces for people to feel empowered in a more localized way. Because I think it is necessary in the industry and in all industries, but especially in the entertainment industry, having a space where women can be taken seriously as an intellectual and as a whole, not just as a sexual being or a persona that is glorified. I think there's a lot more to women than just that.
I speak to a lot of singers and groups, bands, and some of them, they've been telling me they do release singles and then music videos, but they think it's too early to like gather a full album. Okay, and they want to tour a little bit and to promote their names and their songs, and then they would think about this album. But I've seen you have an album already right now. Okay, it's called. It started in the City of Roses, and you are Summer Rose, of course. So tell me, tell me a little bit about the song and how did you conceive this album, its lyrics, and if there are between the lines and between the music and your performance any messages or theme you like to send, through the production of the album.
Yeah. So the album, it started in the City of Roses, is a concept album that I kind of created. It was very much a coming of age sort of storyline that I had conceptualized, and it was basically just kind of my experience as a woman becoming, fully an adult in a way, that transition from like childhood adolescence to a grown adult, and my experience in love, in my sense of self and worth and where I belong in the world. Sorry, my dog is wanting to be part of the interview. Um, but yeah, I think it just was very much about my experiences through that. And I wanted to, during the time, kind of give other women who are going through similar things a place to feel less alone and feel like empowered to change their their circumstances, because I had gone through a very manipulative and abusive relationship
Mm-hmm.
emotionally. And through that, I was able to get out, but it was incredibly hard for me. And through that, I think it gave me that opportunity to be like, hey, there's other women out there who are going through the same thing, and I want to be able
Mm-hmm.
to give them that chance to feel empowered to go off on their own. And it was crazy because I actually did have a moment kind of like that where I was performing, and this complete stranger came up to me, and she was saying, after I had performed, that my songs had helped her. She had just left an abusive relationship herself and was feeling more empowered because of my music. And she thanked me for my songs. And it was just like, I want to cry thinking about it even now, because it means so much to me,
Mm-hmm.
to help someone through that, because it's like I had my foundational people to help me through that, but not everyone does have people to lean on and people to rely on to help them through that. And um, I just want to help people feel like they have resources and they're less alone in that sense. So that was a huge piece of that album for me. Was really big. Currently,
Mm-hmm.
the album is under construction.
Mm-hmm.
Which means basically it's not on streaming platforms currently. I have 2 singles from that album that are still on streaming, but because of business stuff, it's a little bit under construction. So we're
Yeah.
figuring that out currently. But it'll be really good once we do, because I
For
think
sure.
it'll be worth it.
I want to tell you about, ask you as well about, I mean, the business challenges. I mean, there was an era. Myself, I grew up with vinyl and cassettes and then CDs, and then MTV came and VH1. We used to see music videos, you know. But right now, I see everything is digital, online, and all the time I was wondering how, like an up and coming band or singer like yourself, promote themselves, do sales, and if they do sales, for sure they will have financial resources to produce their own content as well. So tell me a little bit about right now the business model that you follow, you know, to complete the album, to shoot your music videos. I don't know if you like to go live on tours, stuff like that. Tell me a little bit about.
Yeah, it's really interesting because as things have kind of evolved in the industry, we've definitely noticed a difference between like what was kind of a 1 in a million shot that you
Mhm.
get this one kind of big label to latch onto you, and that's the only way you're really going to make it.
Mhm.
And then it kind of gradually became people had more options to influence the culture and then come to the labels and say, hey, no, we have something here, you should invest. And now it's become anyone can do that, because of social media and because of just the accessibility of reaching people. The market has become so completely oversaturated, and that's been talked about so many times at this point. But I won't really get into that too much. But it definitely does pose a new challenge for artists of my generation that are wanting to reach that level of success that we grew up watching, but things are just different now. It's really, really hard to get that same type of exposure on your own without, the stereotypical artist development and that whole process that worked for, like Britney Spears and, well, it didn't. Anyways, like
Mhm.
people, the main pop stars of like even up to the 2000s, those eras, I think right around that time is when it started to become less about like eras of pop stars, excuse me, and more
Hmm.
about just like new artists constantly coming in. And it's changed a lot. I think
Sure.
for a little bit because of TikTok and stuff, like the artistry was, it was like how many followers can you get and how many people can you get to like your
Sure.
stuff. And it was a lot more about numbers. But now we're seeing a little bit of a shift towards
Sure.
people wanting that in that uniqueness and that authenticity. So it's starting to kind of go back,
Mhm.
hopefully, to normal somewhat.
Yeah.
I have faith in humanity and like
Mhm.
that we will we will go back to wanting it to be
Mhm.
more artistry, but you know, who's to say? And I don't think it would necessarily be the end of the world if it didn't happen. But I just I love the idea of having giving people who are more focused on the artistry and less about the following. I think
For
it's
sure. You know, I've been seeing your website and your social media, Instagram, and I wanted to ask you because of the photo shoot and the energy you bring in front of the camera as well. I wanted to ask you, do you like to do as well modeling or as well if you consider if you have like a movie proposal, do you like to venture into acting as well, or this is something your music is your main focus right now?
yeah. I am a bit of a like what some people would say like a renaissance woman, where it's I
Good.
just anything that's creative I love to
Hmm.
do. I just love to
Hmm.
express
Hmm.
and explore those creative worlds and the imagination and the just psyche of humanity. I don't know, it
Hmm.
just fascinates me, and I really enjoy it. So I think a lot of art has to do with philosophy, and
Hmm.
they kind of feed into each other, and that I think forms my opinion a little bit about like what I like to try out. It's a little bit of everything for me.
Hmm. So you're open if like a proposal of modeling or filmmaking comes along, which I think very nice because I think right now, myself, I miss musicals, that Hollywood used to do before, and it's a genre that like the westerns, and it goes a little bit and then it comes back,
Hmm.
and I enjoyed very much. Yeah, when I go to New York as well, I enjoy go to see musical like Phantom of the Opera and West Side Story and stuff like that,
Those
and
are great.
their movie adaptation as well. I
Mhm.
want to ask you as well right now about Mr. Bruce Edwin and Star Power Management. I've seen they've been doing a lot of nice press releases about your work. So tell me a little bit about how did you met him and how was the feedback about the recent press release about your work?
Um, Things have been doing pretty well for me lately. I feel
Good.
like overall for press and stuff, I've been going to a lot of different shows and just different red carpets and opportunities
Hmm.
to um, get to celebrate other creatives in the industry, and
Hmm.
getting to meet a lot of amazing people who are amazingly talented. And yeah, just I've been doing a lot of that, trying to put myself out there more and become part of a community in that sense.
Hmm. Very nice.
Yeah.
And right now, Carissa, tell me, in the upcoming period, do you have certain dream or target you would like to achieve?
Um,
Yes, recording a new songs and music videos, of course. But do you have maybe like a broad target, a broad road you'd like to walk on?
I have to say, I have a lot of things under wraps right now that are currently kind of being planned slash figured out, but I can't talk about it too much yet. But I am excited to be doing some kind of branching out of just music, and I will be as well continuing to do the artistry of music and being a musician and artist and creative.
Mhm. Great. Carissa, I would like to thank you very much for the live interview, and I wish you all the best in your upcoming projects. And I look forward for the release of the album. I promise I will listen to it completely and tell you my opinion.
Sounds great. Appreciate it.
Okay, and best wishes to your appearances right now, promoting your work and your recording. And I hope to receive soon a new press release about your new outings very soon.
Looking forward to it. Yeah. And thank you so much for having me. It's a joy to
Welcome
be on
anytime.
Venus.
Yes, I hope to receive you again when you have a new project to announce.
Likewise. All right.
Yeah,
Thank
have a
you so
lovely
much.
evening. Take care. Bye
All
bye.
right. Bye bye.
Bye. Thank you.